Hey, what's up everybody? Jordan Budd here with Rokstaff, and today I have pretty much all of my clothing that I own out here, and I'm going to show you how I layer for the late season. And this year I've had a pretty cold late season. I was on Kodiak Island in December, dealt with a lot of moisture and cold there. Then in November we were right outside of Cody here hunting mule deer, and it was really super windy. It was about negative like 10 when we left the trailhead one day on horseback, and we were hunting all day, so dealt with that. And then I was just in Nebraska, actually on our home place last week, hunting whitetail, and it was also very cold, snowy. We were dealing, like with the wind chill, we were dealing with like in the negative 20s, so that was pretty miserable. But I just was gonna kind of run through and show you how I'm doing everything. So first thing, I guess, with base layer bottoms, these are First Lights. Honestly, I'm not sure if these are available yet, but I think they will be for 2018. They're just a little bit different blend of merino. These are the full length ones. I really have been liking these so far. I've only used these ones in Nebraska, but I really like the long length for in the later season. Like in October, I also wear the First Light 3/4 length arrow wool, and they're awesome. But for later season, when it really gets cold, I go to the full lengths, especially if we're not moving around too much. And then for pants, there's really only a couple pair of pants that I swap between. The first one is the First Light Corrugate guide pants. These are great for late season. They cut the wind pretty well. You know, they're super stretchy. They're extremely durable. And then the other pair of pants I swap on and off with is the Sitka Timberline pants. These are pretty tried and true. You know, they're kind of made for, it's really what they're made for. Reinforced seat and knees. You could put knee pads in them, and they're a great pant. Both those pants, I don't have any real thing bad to say about either one of them. Then going on to the top, this is another First Light piece for 2018, but it's similar to their Minaret, just a little bit different blend. One of the reasons I really like this is, even for the early season as a base layer, is that you can unzip and kind of air out a little bit. The middle of the day when it's getting really hot and you're hiking, you can unzip that and really open everything up. A lot of times, like, I'll wear just the straight crew or just the t-shirt of this, and when it gets really hot, it does kind of suck that you can't, you know, air that out. So I really like this piece. And then over the top of it, it's kind of one of my staple pieces that always comes with me, is the First Light. It's basically it's a Chama hoodie. Just a hooded quarter zip. Put it on over a t-shirt or on over that other shirt is usually what I do. But you know, this is basically a little bit different. I'm not sure if they're still going to call it the same thing, but it's basically a Chama hoodie. What I've really noticed is they kind of redid the cut down here. It's not so loose. It's a little bit more fitted down here on the bottom, and then I think it'll hold its shape a little bit better with the new merino blend that they're using. Then over the top of my merino, I go to a fleece, and this is a staple for a lot of people. I think I've heard a lot about it anyways. This is the Sitka heavyweight core hoodie. I wear this thing a lot, pretty much the entire, from early season to late season. It's always with me. I wear it in the office a lot, around town a lot, so that's a staple piece for me. Hopefully they'll make it in a different color this year, and I'll pick up a pair of those. And then the next thing in my mind that goes over a fleece is a soft shell. Now, for backcountry hunting, especially in the early season, I'm not really a soft shell person, but for the Midwest and some other environments, even down south in Arizona, we hunted Arizona for elk this year, and I really wish, like, we were in some nasty brush, and I really wish that I would have had like a soft shell on. Even up on Kodiak, I actually did wear this in the brush and stuff. It seems this slick the slick like material on the outside doesn't catch, like stickers and stuff can't catch it and rip it as easy as it can grab onto like a fleece or even that merino and grab hold of it. It just kind of slides right off of it, and then it does, you know, it's a protection layer really. And it does have the pit zips. So if it's really cold, I'll put this on, and then I'll put like a puffy on over the top of it, or I'll put my cold front jacket on over the top of it. Just kind of depends, you know, what the situation calls for. If I'm walking a lot, I'll put this on for sure because it has pit zips. If I'm not walking a lot, I might just go straight to a puffy. So it really kind of depends. And then go to our puffy jackets. This is the First Light Un Compadre. Pretty much like all of like September, most of October, and then kind of a little bit maybe in the later summer months. I'll always have this with me. Once in a while I have the vested version of this, and if it's in the summertime when I'm scouting in the high country, I'll just take that because you don't really need you don't need that much. It's not that cold for that long, but it's always nice to have a puffy jacket with you. But I pretty much use this through October, and then when we get into November, I bust out the Kafaru Lost Park Parka, because this thing is like an oven, and it's honestly like a lifesaver for sure. You can zip the hood off, and they have like a quarterback sleeve type thing in here. You can buckle your hip belt or your pack in it, and then still use it as a like a quarterback sleeve. And then there's tiny little sleeves inside of it that you can throw hand warmers in. So this is a game changer for late season, and it has the kind of reinforced elbow pads and reinforced here, so when you're crawling on the ground or whatever, you're still in good shape. And then to go along with the puffy jackets, you know, they're one thing that I always have with me. It doesn't matter if it's the vest or, you know, the jacket or the bomb-proof parka. Like, I always have a set with me. And so this year, First Light came out with the Un Compadre pants, and they're full zip. Basically what these are meant for is when you get to your glassing spot, you just put them on right over the top of your whatever pants you're wearing, and then you can sit down and glass in them. You know, they're not really made for walking. As you can see, I had to patch some up here because I tried to walk too far in them and I fell and I cut them pretty good. But these are, you know, for like sheep hunting in September. I'm always going to have them with me in case we get stuck away from camp and have to sleep away from camp, which we've done like 4 or 5 times now. So definitely keep those in there for that. Are just a really good thing. And pretty much middle of October on, these are in my pack for the rest of the year. All right, and then, you know, aside from the puffy stuff, if I'm walking a lot of times I'm not going to wear a puffy jacket because I just sweat like a pig anyways. So I got a chance to review the Sitka Cold Front set out this year, and I'm a huge fan. It has just a tiny bit of fleece insulation, like just basically fleece lining. It is a rain jacket. It's waterproof. You got a hood that you can roll up and zip in here like I have now, or you can unzip it. The back of the tail goes down pretty far, so when you, like, you know, bend over to sit down, there's not snow getting down your pants or up your back or whatever. So I'm a huge fan of this. They don't have pit zips, and honestly I've been okay with that, but this thing blocks the wind like no other. When we were in Nebraska, I would have my soft shell jacket on, and it was okay for the most part, but when that wind really starts whipping out there and you're out there a long time, it just wasn't enough. But when I put this over the top of it, it like immediately cut the wind, and I was really happy with it. One thing, it is a little loud when you first get it. This is a little bit loud, but I haven't had a chance to wash these yet. I've just been wearing them, but I hear like once you wash them and just wear them a little bit more, they won't be quite so loud. And honestly, for the western hunting type stuff I'm doing, especially late season where you usually have a gun, I'm not worried about that tiny bit of sound. Then I've got the pants to match, basically like bib pants. The back comes up like over your kidneys, I think is what it's supposed to do. Suspenders are sewed in on the back. You can pop them out on the front if you want to, but again, full zip down the sides, super easy to take on and off, put on over your corrugates or your Timberlines or whatever. And then they're also waterproof for sitting in snow, riding on a horse, riding on a four-wheeler. They're awesome. And another thing, even with both of those, especially that jacket, I think it'd be perfect for like skiing or doing anything like that. So then I got glove-wise, these are the Sitka. I don't know if they're the cold fronts or not. They're the pair that they sent me with the cold front set. But they're just basically a soft shell glove. I really like the articulation in them. They're a really comfortable glove. I'd call them more of a mid-weight. They're not a super heavy weight. About 15 degrees and below, my hands get pretty cold pretty fast in them. And then I have my Schmag, I carry this with me all the time, but if you can, when it's really cold and you're sitting down or whatever, if you can put something over your neck to keep the air from escaping, that's kind of the name of the game. And then socks-wise, I'm a fan of Darn Tough socks. These are a little heavier weight. The Crew, if we're not walking very far, I usually wear these. I like them a lot. And then any other time I wear the First Light compression socks. And I've been getting the long ones this year that go over my calf, basically to keep my calf pinched down. I have troubles with my calves balling up, and then I get shin splints, which really sucks. And another deal is kind of an outerwear thing is gaiters, a good pair of gaiters. These are over the calf gaiters. You can get ones that are about half as tall, but for late season and a lot of snow, a good pair of gaiters they're crazy. They help block the wind, keep a little bit of heat in there, and then just keep the snow from getting in your socks and having anything tear your pant legs up as well. Boots wise, also very tricky. These are the crispy women's Wyoming GTX boots. They're uninsulated. I wore these a lot in the early season as well, and pretty much through October through elk hunting here in Wyoming. And honestly, I'm gonna switch to a little bit stiffer pair. I'm used to wearing the La Sportiva Trango Cubes that are also uninsulated for like all my summertime and September high country mule deer stuff. But for whatever reason, that synthetic in the cold, even if it's not very cold, they get cold super, super fast. Whereas these ones they've got some like suede, and they're more of like a leather. I don't think they're actually a leather boot, but they're more like a leather boot that just, even though they're still uninsulated, doesn't seem like they get as cold as fast. But yeah, I'm probably gonna go to their Thors next year. Give those a shot. But for really late, cold, like late season, really cold weather, I've been throwing the 1,000-gram Kenetrex on. And for me, my feet just get cold really easy, so the 1,000 grams are okay. I also have a pair of 400 grams that I used to run. Pretty much, that was my pair of boots, and I ran them through the whole year. But I pretty much have those worn out by now. But the 1,000 grams, they've been really well for me. Like, I wore them on Kodiak Island. We were mountain goat hunting, and it wasn't the most strenuous mountain goat hunting, but there was a lot of snow. It was pretty cold. Like, we were, 15 is kind of what we were looking at. And I never felt like my feet got super hot in these. They were definitely sweaty when I took them off in the evenings, but for kind of that situation, and then up here in the high country and in Nebraska when it was really cold, these actually did super well. I was impressed with how well they did. And for walking wise, they were just fine for me. I never got any hot spots or anything like that. But that's pretty much the mix up, what I'm using. And then another thing to add in with everything is, I guess I won't undo it, but is a Kifaru Whoopee. and it's, you know, basically like a big blanket, wrap you up in it. It like literally weighs nothing. It doesn't take up that much space in your pack. You can get it down a bit smaller than what it is in its compression, or it's in its carry sack, but that's super nice to have along, just kind of as a backup. You know, wrap yourself up in it if it's really windy. But for the most part, like, that's it. That is it. That's what I've been wearing kind of all year, and it's worked out pretty well for me. I haven't lost any fingers or toes yet, so yeah, stay tuned for more videos on rock slide.